Hi there, it's John from itsmorethanjustgaming.com here, and welcome to you. Today I'm having a look at a new purchase of mine. It's a reprint of Imperial Fighter Squadrons expansion pack for Star Wars Armada. This is the first of their two Imperial Fighter Squadrons pack. Because I was a latecomer to the game, I didn't actually get this pack when it came out, and then unfortunately it went out of stock, and I wasn't able to get it because I wasn't willing to pay for £50 for it. As with the other Imperial Fighter Squadrons pack, you get four different types of fighter or ship, as the case is in the other box, and you get two bases worth of each. In this box you have two additional bases of TIE Fighters, two bases of TIE Advanced, two bases of TIE Interceptors, and two bases of TIE Bombers, and you get the Specialist or Ace pilot for each of those, though I believe the TIE Fighter Ace is the exact same one as you get in the actual box. The benefit of having multiple boxes of this, or just fielding lots and lots of TIE Fighters, you actually only really need one of the cards for rules in front of you, because actually all of the things you need to keep track in terms of wounds and who's moved and whatnot are actually done on the squadron basis. So let's have a look at the actual fighters themselves. So first of all, we'll start off with the vanilla TIE Fighter. You get a whole bunch of these in the core box with your Imperial Star Destroyer. They're very cool. Very cheap. The core TIE Fighter is 8 points to field, and the elite one is 15. They are speed 4. They have 3 wounds before they get blown to bits, so they're quite fragile, but that's in keeping with the lore. They have 3 blue dice for anti-fighters and 1 blue die against capital ships. That's the same on both the regular and the elite. Whilst attacking, they both have the swarm rule. While attacking a squadron that's engaged with another squadron, you may re-roll 1 die. So basically, when fighters get engaged with one another, it's when they're close to one another and shooting with one another, TIE fighters get a re-roll, because if their ship they're shooting at is already engaged, chances are it's dodging fire from another attacker. The Maul or Mythal, the elite, has the exact same stats as I've mentioned previously, and after you move, each squadron engaged with you suffers 1 damage. So after he moves, anything that is within range 1 of him takes 1 damage, which is really cool for a TIE Fighter, for something relatively cheap out there. He also has the Contain rule, which is the sort of little eclipse icon at the bottom, which basically halves incoming damage, and he also has the Scatter rule, which allows him to evade all damage entirely once a turn, or twice a turn if you actually want to expend it fully. So that's actually really handy. It sort of, as the flavour, makes them very, very, very manoeuvrable. I would have liked to have seen Scatter on regular TIE Fighters, because they're supposed to be nippy, but I guess the trade-off is you can have a lot of them. Next up, we have the TIE Advanced Fighters with their elite pilot, Darth Vader. These are quite expensive, but they're also quite awesome. So they have speed 4, the same as a TIE Fighter. They have 5 hit points each to represent the fact that they actually have shields. In terms of squadron damage, the elite Darth Vader's TIE Fighter has 3 blue and a black attack die. Blacks have more crits, if I recall. And the regular just has the 3 blue. Both of them have 1 black die for their capital ship armament. So again, not brilliant against capital ships, but then these are meant to be heavy fighters. They both have the escort rule, which means that if squadrons you're engaged with cannot attack squadrons that lack escort, so basically they have to focus on the TIE Advanceds. So you would have these when you're sending heavy things in, like your Lambda shuttles or your bombers. They would actually have to go after the TIE Advanceds, which are actually a lot tougher. Darth Vader's one has 2 Contain rules on it, so they can actually half damage that they take on any given turn, so that's cool. And Darth Vader's got this personal rule: while attacking, each of your critical hit icons adds 1 damage to the damage total. So theoretically, Vader's squadron could take down an entire enemy X-Wing squadron, probably in 1 dice roll. The trade-off is the fact that it's very expensive. 21 points for Darth Vader's squadron, 12 for the regular TIE Advanced. I'm not sure if I would actually have the regulars or the elite. I mean, why wouldn't you have Darth Vader as a fighter pilot? Because he was meant to be one of the Empire's finest. It's really cool. I really like it. I'm looking forward to using it in the games. The third set of fighters that we have in this pack are the TIE Interceptor Squadrons. Now, TIE Interceptors are the next level up after the TIE Fighters in the sort of like the vanilla Star Wars lore. In terms of fighter squadrons, obviously they've got their bombers as well, which I'll come to shortly. TIE Fighters are cool. They are faster than all the other fighters in the pack. They have speed 5. They have 3 hit points each. 4 blue anti-squadron dice, each for the regular Interceptor and the Elite, which is Sunterfell, and they both have a blue anti-capital ship die. Sunterfell is the brother-in-law of Wedge Antilles, one of the elite pilots of the Rebellion. He's an X-Wing pilot, and he's in all 3 Star Wars films. The originals, I should say. TIE Interceptors are quite cool. They have the counter 2 rule, so after a squadron performs a non-counterattack against you, you may attack that squadron with anti-squadron armament of 2 blue dice, even if you're destroyed. So that makes attacking TIE Interceptors quite hazardous, because even if you actually take them down, they get to return fire, and they have the swarm ability that the TIE Fighters have, so they get to reroll when there are other fighters in the fray with them, because they work well when they're swarming rebel fighters. And Sunterfell has a really cool ability. After a squadron you're engaged with performs a non-counterattack, it suffers 1 damage if it did not attack you. So I could definitely see him flying in formation with something that has the escort rule. So for instance, a regular TIE Advanced squadron, they come after Sunterfell, but they are obliged to attack the Advanced squadron. The TIE Advanced survives because they've got high hit points, and Sunterfell then does 1 damage to them automatically, which is amazing. He also has the Contain ability to reduce incoming damage, and Scatter to negate damage. Again, I would have liked to have seen the Interceptor Squadron, the regular one, to have the Scatter ability, because it makes sense in my mind. They're supposed to be fast and nippy. They're still relatively cheap by comparison to, actually they're only 1 cheaper than a TIE Advance. The regular TIE Interceptor's 11. Sunterfell is 18. I would definitely have him, like I say, with an escort, because that would be a fantastic combination. And finally, we actually have my favourite ships in this particular box, and that's the TIE Bombers. Maybe not the most powerful fighters in the Imperial fleet, but I love their shape, and, well, I just like them a lot. Okay, so you get 2 bases of TIE Bombers, same as you get 2 bases of all the other types of fighter in the box. You get the regular TIE Bomber, and you get a card for Major Rhymer, the TIE Bomber Ace. They have fairly good stats. You've got speed 4, so about as fast as everything else you've got other than the Interceptors. They have 5 hit points to represent the fact that they're actually a bit tougher than your regular TIE fighter. Either that or you've got a large bomber wing moving in. They have, for anti-squadron, they have 1 black die. Major Rhymer has a black and a blue die. And for anti-capital ship, they have a black die each. So that's relatively good. The black die is better, but it's much closer range. They have the bomber special rule each. While attacking a ship, each of your critical icons adds 1 damage to the effect to the damage total, and you can resolve a critical effect. So you do extra damage to capital ships, so that's pretty cool. They also both have the heavy special rule. You don't prevent engaged squadrons from attacking ships or moving. So an engaged squadron that is being shot at by fighters isn't going to be able to attack a capital ship, but a TIE bomber is too slow and unwieldy to basically tie up an X-Wing or even a Y-Wing squadron. So that's quite cool. In terms of Major Reimer's card, he has 2 contain abilities, so you can half damage, so that's quite cool. And friendly squadrons at distance 1 can attack enemy ships at close to medium range using all dice in their battery armament. So actually that's effectively increasing the range of their bombing runs. So black would normally be closer range, so that's quite cool. It means that you can attack a capital ship from further. I'd have to actually have a look at rules clarifications. That might also mean that you can disregard the engaged rules because of his presence. His leadership allows other bomber squadrons to engage enemy capital ships even whilst there are X-Wings and A-Wings lurking about. So yeah, they're quite cool. It costs 9 for a regular bomber squadron and 16 for Major Reimer. So the Ace is, as you would expect, quite expensive, but I think he's actually worth it. With the contain rules, he is quite tough. He's got high hit points, and with the bomber rule, they're going to really chew through enemy capital ships. A couple of these on the field, you'll be able to take down corvettes and frigates with just your bombers, whilst leaving your Star Destroyers for the Mon Cal cruisers and things like that. So any Imperial player is going to want a couple of these on the table. So that's it for Imperial Squadrons 1. I very much like this box. I actually prefer it to Imperial Fighter Squadrons 2. I mean, you get Lambda Shuttles and TIE Defenders in that box, but for me, this box is full of the iconic fighters from the Empire. I really like the cheapness of the TIE fighters. The interceptors are really good at counter-punching, so it makes them very risky to shoot down. You've got the TIE Advance, which have Darth Vader as their ace pilot, which is just awesome, and the fact that they can escort things so you can't actually target other fighters until you actually take out the TIE Advance, and combine that with the Interceptor Sinterfell, that means getting into a furball with an Imperial fighter wing is actually really dangerous for Rebel fighters. It means that you are actually going to be just that little bit more effective against Rebel fighters, and let's face it, Rebel fighters are fantastic, and they, well, bluntly, when I've played this game, the few times I've played this game, it's their fighters that chew through and are most effective, because my big ships outgun their big ships any day of the week, but their fighters outgun my fighters every single day of the week. With some of the combinations you can get out of this, you can actually probably level the playing field, and with the bomber rules for Major Reimer and the other TIE bombers, you can actually punch your way through the medium level capital ships pretty quickly, freeing up your Star Destroyers turbo lasers for the bigger fish. Quite literally, because there'll be Mon Cal cruisers now that I think about it. I made a joke. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it enjoyable and or useful. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. There will be a link in the description back to my website where there will be an accompanying article. There won't be masses of information in the article, given that it's not already on the video, given that these have been out for a while. But the website, it's morethanjustgaming.com, has lots of other cool gaming stuff, so I hope to see you there. Bye for now.